Morning, afternoon, what's up? Just dropped the dog off. I had to drop the dog off and get her all fixed up. Jump in here, throw some tennis balls at me or whatever. But anyway, jump on in here. What's up, folks? What's up, Rose? I've been thinking, man. I'm starting to see good. I'm glad you guys are all in here. Look at this. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I can't read the names from here, but I'm trying to think of what we could do about, and if you have children, man, let me introduce myself. My name's Harry. People call me Big H. People call me Big Cat. On Twitter, I'm the Big Cat. I got lions, cheetahs, pumas, tiger dens up in there, all fighting for patriotism and stuff. But I'm trying to think of ways. If you could turn back the clock, I'm a 70s kid, maybe 75 to 85 with some of my really good stuff. And hello, all you beautiful people. I'm glad you just popped in to say hello. Drop some comments, man. How can we get kids diverted from their phones? And trust me. And we got a little bit of a storm going right now. Let me show you out there. Woohoo! Not a storm, but it's windy, and the sea is coming up and splattering against the truck. But anyway, I digress. We got to figure out ways to try to get these kids to interact with each other without the phone. And I'm telling you, if I was 15 years old, I'd be on my phone. There's no way, man. And if you keep up, get me some likes in here, please. Please get me some likes, because I'm a good dude. I love you guys, and I accept everybody in these rooms. I don't care what you say. Hopefully TikTok loves what you said. But how do we get them? If you got a child, now here's what I did. Immediately with my children, the day they were born, I'm a musician. I write music. I'm a painter. I don't paint portraits or anything, but I do paint like landscapes and stuff. A lot of the Bob Ross kind of technique, wet on wet. I'm a carpenter and I'm a chef. So and the carpentry and the chefing is what I did most of my life, which are creative, right? So of course there's rules. You got rules in cooking and you got rules in carpentry. Beautiful thing to it is it's easier than math. Because math is, if you don't follow the rules, most of the time it just doesn't turn out right. You get the wrong answer, right? But if you teach your children at least cooking, or at least, go out and build something. I remember my son was about 4 years old, and the first thing he saw me build live was a treehouse, right? And who didn't want a treehouse? Who didn't? We as parents need to get off our phones and get more involved with our kids. I'm telling you, Texas conservative, perfect. I still do it. All right. Yes, I'm on my phones. I barely don't get. That was a good comment, by the way. I appreciate that. We do have to do it now. My children are 16 and 20, and one's halfway through high school, one's halfway through college, and they've already figured out ways to get away from the phones. Now, the whole family, including my wife, bless her, I love her. When I first met my wife, I had, I would say, a nice gaming rig. I'm guilty of it. Yeah, thank you. See, I'm guilty too. Now, I use my phone way more to fight. All right, I'm more of an activist. So on Twitter, I got 45,000 plus followers there. YouTube, I used to have about 2,000 or 3,000, but I gave it up for about 5-6 years. And now I'm down to like 710, but I'm working that back out. And if you haven't seen some of my CatCast, hashtag CatCast, and then you watch the show, I do stuff like, reaction videos and stuff. So most of my time on my phones are spent more towards activism. And I'm sure a lot of you on here, handsome young man. Yeah, that would be me. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, though. Who was that? Said make her day. Yeah, well, you made my day. I appreciate that. I'm 54 years old, 54 years young, and my children are definitely attached to gaming. You know, my wife and I, when we first met, the easiest thing to explain, I guess, was it almost took us 4 years just to get married. So one of the things I did that my wife kind of did with like Nintendo and stuff was I was on these games right at the peak of when the 3D first person stuff was coming out. Duke Nukem, Achtung, what was that one? Wolfenstein, that stuff, right? So, you know, my wife's kind of, you know, I had my extra bedroom. It was set up with a computer, with the speakers. I got, you know, she liked a little bit of the Nintendo or PlayStation 1, whatever I had at that time. She was definitely into Mario Brothers, Tetris, stuff like that. So she started hearing like the soundtracks. I believe it might have been Half-Life. When Half-Life first came out, she heard like the banter in the game, the atmosphere, the music. There was a storyline. It was fantastical, right? Hit me with some likes. Pretty please. Tap, 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 tap. I wish I could tap it myself, but that gets the algorithm going. And I'm not really a big live goer, but I just felt like I got the dog at the dog groomers, and I wanted, this is my second channel. I got another channel over there. Let's see. Yes, I bought my gaming systems, VRs. We all have them involved in music. Yeah, right. So when she saw the Half-Life, woo, she looked over my shoulder and she was like, "What is that?" And I said, "It's mouse driven. You got to use keys, honey." Well, what's up, Peter? Peter's up in the house. Peter's in the house. It's a good friend of mine. Everybody go follow Peter. And if I missed anybody, I'm sorry. I just recognize this is, again, a second channel that's brand new. So I'm just letting you know, you know, Peter's a good dude. We've also gone live together. I couldn't get her off the thing. So like I would work all day. She would work all day. She ran a super fresh front end, or I think it was A&P then, which was a food store. And I did carpentry, landscaping. We had a property management maintenance company, so I was running that. And we all had to run home, both of us, and see who could get on the computer first. And whoever didn't get on the computer first had to cook dinner. And then whoever cooked dinner got to get on after dinner and have the night. And she had to be in bed early anyway. So most of the time, I had to peel her off just to come eat dinner. So my wife wound up being a gamer, a computer. Holy Ghost visiting, 100% real and loose, invading enemy territory and all your spirits with holy fire. 7 thunders. That's a great one, man. I like that. 7 thunders up in this house. Thank you, Texas. Keep liking it up for me. Keep liking it up. Oh, by the way, for this channel, it is the first live. So everybody that's liking it, and I appreciate you, love you. So getting back to the kids and the phones, I'm definitely in my genetics, and the genetics I gave to my children are like, what's the next game? And then you got this new stuff that are called apps. All right, so it was one thing to save up money and go out and buy a single game or the CD-ROM that would come, and you would get it, you know, once Xbox came out and PlayStation, they were pretty fantastical. But now the phones can have apps. And the only thing I can think of is they have to have like a 17 and under phone. So you can have the phone and you can have the proper apps. I don't want it to be like it's communist or it's socialist, because I don't believe that. But I do believe that maybe the parent can transfer a game to a phone, but the kids should really, and they can have their other systems that, you know, of course you can't stop them from having an Xbox, whatever, 5, 10, whatever they are, PlayStation 21. I get that. Their own personal PC. But the phone part is just crazy. Now, that doesn't mean you can't stop texting each other and all. I get that. But there's got to be a way that it doesn't take a generation of parents. Now, I'm seeing in the news that there are some, and I can't repeat which one it is. I can't do that. But I am starting to see in the news cycle that people are starting to wonder if this is hurting. Take exactly what we're on right now. You'll have people, all right, it's kind of political, but if you looked at Congress right now, all the blue Congress doesn't want to talk about what social is. Get back to Nokia phones. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. And you can't, when you remember the Nokia phones, when you had to text, you had to have to hit like 333 just to get like a B or something. I forget. It's been a long time. I had Nextels, was one of my first. But I remember with the Nokias, man, you had to hit like certain buttons 6 times just to get the character you wanted. You know, and you know kids, they're going to be like mastering that. I watch my children tap on their phone. They're double thumbed, and they're just, I can't even go as fast as they can go. I guess if I did it too. I mean, I was a piano and guitar player for years and years. I soloed on piano, but I noodled soloing on guitar. I was more of a rhythm and a singer. Did Sean just come in? I think I know Sean. But anyway, you know, oh, thank you for the likes. You've got 1,000. If you hit me with a tennis ball, hit me in the tennis ball. You can pretend you hit me in the face because you love me. I don't mind if you hit me right in the nose with a tennis ball. That would be pretty cool because that's one of my goals, right? So I'm just trying to figure out. That's a good thing. The Nokia part, yeah. You know, the kids like to, and I can't say kids too now. It is adults, man. When you see the J6 thing, mostly everybody was in there just taking selfies. I know there was a 10% or a 5% portion that was just no good at all. But, oh, my son loves the piano and drums. Daughter is playing the bass. You got a band. You got a band now. Maybe you sing for them. And get them to sing. Support them. You know, music is what saved my life because music was hands-on. It wasn't where somebody, like you couldn't, like, you know, if you're cooking, you can get burnt. If you're building a house, something can fall on you. You could smash your thumb. But music just gave you, like, you know, math. It gave you color. It gave you melody. It gave you structure. It gave you a whole world that you could just, you know. And I look back, I remember Sundays with my grandfather. And my grandmother, I'd wake up, I'd smell coffee in one of them big-ass coffee things, right? Thank you for sharing. I love you. Who is that? Who is that? Julio Rodriguez. Gracias, mi amigo. Oh, man, that was so cool you shared for me. I remember a big-ass coffee pot. I don't know if they were percolators or not. They might have been percolator. But, man, that thing on weekends would, like, my grandparents would make, you know, I had a rough childhood. There was months at a time I lived at my grandmother's. So on weekends, I'd wake up, and the first thing I smelled was 2 things, either amazing coffee or amazing bacon. And back then, I don't know if I really dug the coffee smell, but thinking back now, oh yeah, what does that say? Yes, and it helps because we have friends that are all in bands. Absolutely. Take them to go see live shows. Thank God my children got to see me play live, you know, and I do have video of it playing live. And I still have on Reverb Nation my last album I wrote. So if you look up Harry Fessler on Reverb Nation, the band was late in April. Take a look at some of the music. Maybe one day I'll post some music on here. I don't know. I still have that up. But anyway, I would wake up, and then as soon as I got down the steps, I realized Frank Sinatra was playing. My Artemis Pyle on drums. Okay, Artemis Pyle on drums. We're good friends. I was one proud parent. See, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Artemis is fantastic. Invited to join the live. Who's this? Oh, whoever this is, I'm going to see who you are. Sorry. Come on up.
My friend.
Are you
Game.
there?
One more.
What's your name?
More game.
Miguel?
Yes. Game more.
I don't speak. Bye-bye. He took off. All right. I don't know what he said. I feel bad about that. But anyway, send me some tennis balls, please. Yeah, definitely go back and look at that. I don't even know if I can go put a link up on this. I probably could. I'm not sure. But, oh, we're getting likes, man. I love it. I love it. So, anyway, maybe there's got to be like a before 15 or a before 16 style phone, and you can't get caught. I know that just sounds so It sounds so red state where you're, oh, Peter, I can get Peter to come up. Peter knows how to do it. I think I sent it to you. Try it. Let me see if I can do it this way. All right, gotta run. Nice chatting. Awesome. It was good chatting with you. Peter, you coming up? I sent you one. Oh, it says you're not available. You probably can't come up. Okay, you're a banana. Okay, I know what that means. All right, sorry about that. So anywho, great suggestions that you gotta get your kids into music. And one of the other good things was both my children through 8th grade and under were in band. And they both learned trumpet. I learned trumpet. That was the first thing I learned how to read music. Fantastic instrument. A little physical on the lips. But there's only 3 keys, right? And you only read one line. So if you get into trumpet, that's a fantastic... Who's this one? Cater is to go live. Who's that? Kate, say hello so I know. Say hello so I know you want to come up. Say invite me, then I know I'll hit the invite button. Yeah, trumpet was just fantastic. The other good thing is you got to realize once you're inside a big band that everybody plays on different keys, everybody plays different parts, and in trumpet you had first, second, and third trumpet, at times 4. So there was 3 sets of trumpet music being played by maybe 6 people. So maybe 2 third trumpet, 2 second trumpet, 2 first trumpet. You always challenge each other for seats. Don't know why Mr. Geekus did that. That was my band teacher. But he would, if you wanted to be, I guess he wanted to create a little bit of competition, get you to be better. I didn't get a tennis ball. Send me a tennis ball, man. Send me likes at least. But anywho, let me see if I can get Kate up here. So where is Kate? Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Peter, for sharing. I love you. Thank you for my likes. I love you. Yeah, do that. Then I got my kids painting. The reason I picked up painting, my son was about 2 or 3 years old. And we were starting to just draw. And I was like, man, the only person in my family was my great-grandmother. And she was pretty darn good. She painted with oil paints. And I didn't have time for oil paints. I needed stuff to dry, man. So, anywho, I started learning how to paint kind of the Bob Ross way, the wet on wet technique. And I kind of got good enough at it that by the time my daughter was born and my son was 4, I kind of played around with my son to get good enough. He was kind of into it, but he liked sports and video games. He was more into that. He did like, swinging a hammer. So he would go out and help me. He did like when we had like lawn and landscape crews doing stuff, he'd ride in the Bobcat with me. So, we would drive around and push stone or dirt around. My son also liked to go and put the blower on and blow off. Like some days after school, I'd have to pick him up. So my son got to be physical that way. He would go on our jobs. I remember one time we were on a first floor and we were putting pins up for a railing. And he was getting to learn how to set the pin on a line, tap it into place, and then take a triangle square, and tap it until the triangle square made the right end and it was laid in. And we would just shoot it in. And that was like probably close to quitting time. But, you get your children involved in that. It's fantastic. We're 1,500 likes. We're 1,500 likes. I love it. Oh, that's exciting. Still no tennis ball. I don't even know what that means. But it said put up a thing for a goal. So I chose tennis balls. Anyway, I'll get to where people hit me with tennis balls. Now, I'm not going to stop with the tennis balls. Next live I do, you're going to throw a tennis ball at me somehow. And I'll figure out how to do lives better. But by the time my daughter came, she was the artiste. She was also the chef. So my son picked up on the physical stuff, and I don't know if that was genetics or not. And my daughter picked up on, and she picked up on music too. I was blown away that she played trumpet, and she played for 6 years, both of them. I think Harry played for 5, she played for 6, but long enough to learn another language. So then when you get to high school, you have to start learning French, Spanish, Italian, whatever. You kind of already got that there's something else out there to learn. So, and they did really good in that too. So I did that with my kids, and my kids aren't as, like, when the kids come over and have a sleepover at my daughter's, or like my daughter's friends, she tries to get them, like, they'll bake, they'll do painting, like, she tries to get them off the phone, and I didn't teach her to do that. You know, they would all the kids that come over would just sit around, if they wanted to, on the couch and text each other or play games where they're playing. That's another thing. Instead of going out and playing football, whether it was tackle or whatever, two-hand touch, it didn't matter. They're playing games on a couch where they're definitely a team or playing against each other. Not now. It's more that they're all playing in the same whatever. Like, I guess it's still against each other, but it's just for points and whatnot. But I'm like, come on, man. When I was 12 on a Saturday or after school, man, I did everything I could do not to go in that house. I used to do my homework early. I was one of the few that if I had a half hour in school in class or 10 minutes at the end of each class, man, I got half to all my homework done. I wasn't going home to do homework, save for if I had to read. Maybe I'd do that at nighttime before bed. But I would take care of English and math no matter what before I got home. So that left me with either religion, history, social studies, or maybe, or just plain reading, for English. But the last thing I wanted to do was go out, play all day, eat, then get tired, and then still have to do my homework. And that was so both of my kids do the same thing. They do the same thing. They do their homework before they get home. They're straight A. And I'm not lying. I mean, here you go. This is a good one. I am thankful that we got to 1.5 likes. That's a really good, for me, I'm not a live person. So that's, to me, for just starting the channel and just getting out there, I can't love you guys more than just that alone. I really can't. And I just lost what I was just going to say. Schmaltz. I was just going to say something poignant. Oh, about school. I told my kids what I wish my parents told me. And if you're young on this live right now, if you're young, throw a tennis ball at me or like it. Or share me. No, I'm just joking. If you're young, the key to school is only one rule. I mean, you can also, as a parent, throw in a couple rules you want to rule or throw in there. But here's my golden rule for school. For college, I don't care if it's maybe not preschool, but the minute you're held responsible, never get behind. If you're going into class the next day prepared, you'll love school. If you're going in there with a C, C minus, D plus, and you're just hating school, and then because you hate school so much because you get no reward, and then you have to go home and face school again with homework, and then you don't want to do your homework, and then you go into school the next day and you don't have your homework done, then you're just going to hate school. But I can promise 9 out of 10 children, 99 out of 100 children, if you just go there and pay attention and listen to the teacher and get your work done and be good at it, school becomes fun, because that happens in music and sports. Even with trumpet, I remember how bad my lips would hurt. But by the end of the season, I was reading music. I was probably in 4th grade, 3rd grade. I was 2nd grade. That's right, I was at Crest Memorial. I was reading music at the end, and my lips held up, and it was cool. Same with learning the language. It's tough at the first part of it, but then once you start getting it. So it's such as in life. I watched this beautiful, I should do a video on that one actually. I watched this kid that his grandfather left a farm. I don't know if it was Idaho or Iowa. Corn Star Farm. So you can look that up on YouTube, Corn Star. And he's something corn star. What the hell's it? But I watch him, and he did this 6-year project, and it showed him from like when he was like 17 all the way through college. And his grandfather unfortunately got brain cancer, and he left the property to him. He chose this kid at 17 who did nobody does this. So the kid's probably a genius and prodigy. I only watched one video, but the end was so good. But at 17, in his senior year of high school, he took his first year of college. Who does that? And he went for business. But he said he knew that his grandfather was probably edging towards, his dad was pretty well-to-do too. But the farm locally, I think it's Iowa. Maybe Nebraska corn, I don't know. But his grandfather got brain cancer and said to him, I'm leaving the farm to you, and you make it in your eyes. It's your turn. And the freaking kid, he does this video where it's showing how beat the whole town thought it was like the junkyard. And this kid, I don't know, he's got like 360 or 460 people, 500 people, 1,000 on YouTube. So he's making money with YouTube anyway. So I don't know if he's even on TikTok. I just saw this yesterday. And at the end, he explains that even through college, he would make himself $200 a month to eat. He would ride a skateboard. I mean, he's telling all the, I didn't have shoes. I didn't get a pair of clothes. I mean, he's doing all that. But he's showing the conservative way of how to, thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. We're at 16. And I didn't even get hurt by a tennis ball yet. Throw one at me. Just so I could see. Can somebody send me a tennis ball so I can see what it looks like if I get one? Anyway, you don't have to. Just liking it and sharing it is awesome. And again, this is my first live on this channel. So you guys are fantastic. And I know I'm talking fast, but I just love this kid. He just said that everything you do that you want to do, you're going to have a lot of people tell you can't do that. What your dreams are, and everybody, all the successful people say the same thing. You're going to have, whether they're a music star, an actor, professional sports, whatever, $1 million lawyer, doesn't matter. You're going to go through life, and people are going to try to bring you down. And you have to put it in your head to block that out. And he said it's going to be over 20,000 steps I got to take for the next 20 years for my children to see what this farm looked like and where it became that I can hand it to my children if they want it. And I'm like, you got to thank YouTube and whatnot for that, because people have put that time lapse. They do a project for a year or 5 years, whatever. And you see what it took to do it and all. It just blew me away. At 54, I already know that rule. But when you see like a 24-year-old kid, that's 30 years younger than you, try to tell other children or adults that you got to stick it through. And for 20,000 steps for the next 20 years, every day is one step. And then there's that rule of 10,000 hours, and you can become, an expert in something. So yeah, everybody says that too. Thank you all for coming in. I love you guys hitting them likes. I'm looking up there, and it says 0 out of 20 tennis balls. Maybe I should have said 10. That's probably like a big ask. I don't know. I took TikTok's suggestion. So anyway, so back to getting the phones. Do you think this generation is gonna start seeing that maybe mentally it could be hurting the generation before? These kids, look at the people that are in office. Either they got left money or they've been on social media now. And they're not really, a lot of them aren't really capable of running the job. And plus we're voting them in. I mean, God bless John Fetterman. I hope he's okay. Supposedly he's depressed. I hope his wife treats him good. I don't wish any ill will on the man. He was voted in. That's who Pennsylvania wanted. I don't know if I would have voted for either one of them, Dr. Oz or John Fetterman. I don't hold anything against Fetterman. It is who put him in office. It's who raised him up. The man probably should have took care of his own health first and made sure he was okay, because he was, I believe, a mayor for 6-8 years, something like that. So I just pray for him. When people ask me about the war, that's above my pay grade, man. That's a proxy war that's done by people I have no business having. I just pray for anybody that's holding a gun, getting hurt. I hope that war stops. It's for nefarious reasons, and I have no thoughts on it but to just stop it and pray for anybody displaced. Pray for our people that are over there, although they shouldn't be. But I pray that just people stop getting hurt, and we move on to something else like veterans. We can send all this money everywhere, and we should be doing our veterans. We should be changing our school system, and I mean system. We need to change that. We need to prop that up and make sure these babies that are popping out now are getting the best education they can, but they're not getting disintegration of the mind. They need to learn math. They need to learn real history. They need to know what oppression is. But they also need to know that out of that oppression became some really wonderful good things. That's the main thing. So do I fight? I sure fight. I surely do. We need to get, I'm into, I'm into some unions, but I think parents should run the teachers. The teachers should run their curriculum. The curriculum needs to be overseen by both people in school and parents. Nobody should have any control of children without parent knowledge and foresight and guidance. It's that simple. Because nobody can tell me that in a group of 10,000 parents in a city that they can't formulate out of 10,000 people the best plan for their children. It might be different in Texas and it might be different in New Jersey, whatever. But parents have to be involved with the schooling over government, over unions. The parents need to make sure they can see what is happening to their children 8 hours a day, because you're driving your children to school and you're going to work to pay for whatever that school costs or their clothes or the mortgage. And you're saying that I'm letting you be parent that's going to teach my child the right stuff. So you don't even leave, parents need to be involved. Maybe they will be better helping to write and understand curriculum. Maybe. And maybe parents in Utah compared to parents in Pennsylvania have, slightly different ways to write that curriculum. And I don't see that the federal can't put out a pamphlet of a suggestion and some guidelines to look at, but they can't totally just force it. They can't. Somebody oversight is what they did with the three branches, which is now there's no three branches of our government anymore. But the forefathers thought that if we have three, they can all overlap and checks and balances. And if you learn, then what is it? I was a math teacher. Yes, you were. It comes centrally. Yes, absolutely. We're almost going to get 2,000 likes. Awesome. But anyway, I'm just happy that you guys came in here. What is this? What's that? Lardy. Parents should homeschool if they don't like it. Look, that's okay. I understand what you're saying, but let me reframe that. In the old days, parents used to look after other children. And those parents respected the parents that said, hey, little Johnny wasn't treating, Amanda right, and I just wanted to bring it to you. In my neighborhood, I had to watch out because there wasn't surveillance cameras, but there were parents looking at each other. So yeah, it's okay to say I want to go home or let them go home and homeschool. I'm not against that. I do believe that they need to be socially checked. Make sure that if you're going to have your kids at home, you get them into something that's social and gets them hanging out. All that's good. But that doesn't mean you still can't be part of the school and help protect what is happening to the children on the other side of the street, right? That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that, it's only parents, but the parents have to know top to bottom what's going on. What's it say? It takes a lot of math, science, social studies should be constitutional. Absolutely. It does. I remember, what was this? My property tax shouldn't have to go to babysit your kids or to raise them to be bigots. Hey, look, man. Lardy, lard, har, har, har. So you're saying that schools raise bigots. All right. You're more than welcome to that theory. That's fine with me, but I'm not down with that. Let me go this way. Let me go that way. There we go. We're back. I'm back. Anyway, look, you don't have to be negative. Already something happened in your life that you're negative. I'm positive. All I'm saying is parents need to look in on schools. What you're saying is schools raise bigots. Okay. I don't think they do. I don't think they do at all. Not purposely. Certainly some. Every taxpayer can have input. Sure. Thanks to the so-called Tim Tebow laws, you can homeschool and be involved in all activities. Yes. Now that's Ricardo. Nice. That's very good. Very good. What's that one? Ricardo. Especially inner city schools breed bigotry. Maybe they do. I think inner city schools now are just teaching hate. I don't think they're teaching bigotry or whatever. I think they're teaching hate. They're focusing on the past instead of absorbing today and planning for tomorrow. And that's not productive if all you can do is look at the past. You have to be able to look at the future, right? That's a better word for it, hate. Okay. They are. I could not even discriminate against a student who was discriminating. I'm sorry to hear that. Look, I'm not against teachers, man. Teachers have one of the most trusted jobs in the world. They have your children for umpteenth hours, days, or weeks, whatever. So all I'm saying is, let's just make sure, and I want the teachers to make sure that everything that's being done with the child is going to make them a better person for the future generations. And that means we got to overhaul the system. That's what it means. That's all that's all I'm saying. And we broke 2,000 likes. I love you guys. And I appreciate tough job, and not all teachers do it. No, I always used to say, especially like with nurses, teachers, first responders, cops, people that have like those pressured jobs, all the way down to even, somebody waiting tables, man. If you don't want to have children around you all day, then don't be a teacher, because your job's going to be to nurture them and guide them and give them the best, chance to win for the next year. Your whole job is to boost them up to the next year and release them. And then you get a whole new batch in. So, is it like cattle? Of course it is. But they're people that talk back to you and learn. So all I'm saying is, for that next grade, for that next group, like high school or college, it's very important for teachers to be able to balance and juggle the different personalities, the different learning skills. So I get all that. It's one of the hardest jobs, and I have the utmost respect for a good teacher. You know what? For a good teacher, I have just as much respect for a single parent that can produce a child. And that's the hardest job in the world, is to be, in my opinion, God bless a single parent child, because that parent has one hell of a job to be able to turn out a good citizen. And they do it. And all my love to teachers and single parents, because in both, it's almost like they're both equal. One has to deal with 20 kids at one time, and the other has to deal with one, and they both have to be successful. So anyway, lots of love to you guys, man. I had a wonderful time. I'm going to go pick up some dinner. Peter, thank you for coming in. I hope we get a chance to do a live together. That was a good one we did, and I'm gonna download this and I will put it back up. I wish on my download it would save the soon. He says, I know you're in jail. My other account, it's brutal. As soon as I'm allowed to come out, they flag a video from 2 months ago. I don't know who's doing it. Either somebody hates me or whatever. I don't know. But right now, so far, I'm doing 0 videos that can get flagged. So even if I do get flagged and appeal it, I win. So anyway, but this is a positive day. Much love to you guys. I will see you on the other side.